Come closer. Don't rush. Don't speak. The world outside can wait. Right now, something holy is unfolding. This isn't noise or comfort. It's a summons. A voice older than time is calling your name, not to demand, but to awaken. Listen carefully. This is where everything you thought you knew changes forever. Come close now, my beloved. Let the world fall silent around you. The noise, the hurry, the endless motion that fills your days. Let it all fade like a tide retreating from the shore. You've spent so much of your life responding to demands, fulfilling duties, giving of yourself without pause. But this moment is different. It is not about what you must do. It is about who you are becoming. I call you now to be still, not merely to rest your body, but to quiet your mind, to allow your spirit to breathe again. This stillness is not emptiness. It is the sacred space where you can finally hear me clearly, not through words or sound, but through the quiet core of your being. You have sensed this call before, haven't you? In the soft pauses between your responsibilities, in those moments when something deeper within you longed for a voice beyond your own thoughts. You may have mistaken it for a fleeting emotion, a momentary calm, but it was me drawing you closer. I was speaking not to your surface self, but to the place within you that has always known me. That place has waited patiently for this moment, when you would finally stop striving long enough to listen, not with your ears, but with your heart. This is where it begins, my child. A new chapter not shaped by performance, but by presence. You've lived through seasons where you felt unseen, unheard, and uncertain if your quiet endurance mattered. But every unseen tear, every silent prayer, every moment you kept going despite the weight pressing down on you, none of it has been wasted. It all carried purpose, even when the purpose seemed invisible. And now, at last, the time has come for you to see what I have been forming through those quiet, uncelebrated moments. Do not be afraid of this beginning. It does not arrive with the noise of trumpets or the blinding flash of recognition. It comes softly, like dawn spreading across the horizon, gentle, certain, unstoppable. This fresh light will not erase who you've been, but it will reveal what I've been shaping within you. I am about to bring forth something remarkable through your life, not because you have earned it, not because you are the strongest or the most capable, but simply because you gave yourself to me. You are mine, and in that truth lies everything you need. You may wonder why this moment feels sacred, why something in your heart stirs even as your mind tries to understand. That stirring is the quiet movement of my spirit within you. I am not a distant figure hovering in the heavens. I am the breath in your lungs, the calm behind your thoughts, the gentle awareness that you are never alone. The world has taught you to listen to every other voice, to fear, to expectation, to opinion. But I am teaching you now to listen to the stillness beneath them all, for it is there that truth lives. I am inviting you into a new awareness. You will begin to perceive that not every thought deserves your attention. Not every emotion requires your reaction. There is a center within you where peace always exists, untouched by the world's noise. That is where I speak. Come to that place. Let go of everything that has demanded your constant proving. Let go of the need to hold it all together. Let the exhaustion fall away, even if only for a moment, and notice what remains. That quiet essence, that is you, the one I have loved from the beginning. When you rest in this awareness, you will feel me more closely than ever before. My love is not a distant ideal. It is alive within you. It moves through your breath, through the rhythm of your heartbeat. It surrounds you even when you feel alone. You have looked for me in outcomes and signs, but I am here, in this very moment, speaking softly through the calm you are beginning to feel. My presence is not found in chaos, but in stillness. The world may call stillness unproductive, but I call it sacred. Breathe now, deeply and slowly. You are not losing control. You are learning to release it. I am holding you, my precious one. You have no need to perform for me. I am already pleased with you. The plans unfolding now are not fragile. They are eternal. The seed of my purpose within you is already alive. It has waited beneath the surface, nurtured through seasons of silence, and now, in this moment of stillness, it begins to emerge. You might feel hesitant, unsure how to trust something so unseen. That's natural. You've been trained to value what can be measured, proven, or praised. But this work of mine is not of that kind. What I build in you is not for fleeting applause. It is for deep and lasting transformation. You are stepping into a new rhythm where your worth is no longer tied to what you achieve, but to who you are in me. You are already complete, already chosen. The only thing you must do now is receive this truth fully. Do you feel it? The slow unwinding of tension within you, the small exhale that says, maybe I don't have to keep holding everything? That's the beginning of trust. Trust is not built in grand moments. It begins here, in the decision to stop fighting and simply listen. And as you listen, you will sense me drawing even closer. You will realize that I have never been far. Even when you thought I was silent, I was preparing this very conversation with your soul. This is your invitation to start anew, not by changing your surroundings, but by awakening to my presence within them. This fresh beginning does not require a new location, a new title, or a new identity. It requires awareness that every step from this point forward is sacred. You will walk the same paths, see the same faces, perform the same tasks, but with a renewed spirit that sees through the surface of things. That is where transformation begins, not in the world outside you, but in the space within you where my voice speaks and your soul responds. Now, my beloved one, let this truth take root. You are entering a divine rhythm, one that does not rush or demand, but flows with grace. The old patterns of urgency and worry will try to pull you back, but you no longer need to follow them. Your life will become a quiet testimony to what it means to walk with peace. Every choice, every pause, every act of gentle faith will ripple outward, touching lives you may never even meet. Do not fear what you cannot yet see. The path ahead may seem veiled, but I am already walking it with you. You are not behind. You are right on time. The stillness you feel now is not a delay, it is alignment. Every moment that you surrender to this peace is a moment where I can move freely within your life. Trust this process. It is the unfolding of my eternal plan, one that began long before you were aware of it. Stay here with me a little longer. Let the world remain outside this sacred silence. In this stillness, I am restoring you. I am whispering truths that will sustain you through what comes next. You will not need to strive for them. They will simply live within you. For this is where your true journey begins. Not in doing, but in being. You have walked through quiet years that few understood, haven't you? Seasons when your strength was tested not by visible trials, but by the long unending silence that met your prayers. You wondered why the heavens seemed still while your heart longed for answers. Yet, even in those unseen hours I was near. You thought you were standing alone, but I was shaping you in ways you could not yet see. Every unanswered question was preparing space within you, space for wisdom, for compassion, for the depth that cannot be learned in ease. You did not know it then, but I was forming something lasting within you. Others may have seen only your perseverance, but I saw your quiet courage, the steady faith that refused to fade even when hope grew thin. You may have felt like you were wandering through shadows, but each step you took in trust built the foundation of your readiness. You learned how to listen to subtle whispers, how to walk without sight, how to keep your heart open even when comfort was far away. This was not punishment. It was preparation. I know you sometimes questioned why your path seemed slower than others, why doors stayed closed when you knocked, why opportunities slipped away just as you reached for them. But I was never withholding blessings from you. I was refining your capacity to receive them fully. There are gifts that can only be carried by those who have learned to wait without resentment. You became one of those souls. Your patience was not wasted. It became strength in its purest form. You have known what it means to endure in quiet faith, to keep loving when love was not returned, to serve when recognition never came. Every one of those unseen moments has become sacred to me, for in them I saw not just your endurance, but your devotion. You did not stop believing, even when the evidence around you seemed small. That is the kind of faith that moves mountains, not the loud, triumphant kind, but the soft, steady belief that holds on through the night. I remember the nights you lay awake, wondering if I heard your cries. You searched for signs, for reassurance, for anything to tell you that your efforts were not in vain. And though I seemed silent, I was nearer than your breath. I watched as your tears fell, each one carrying a silent message of trust. I was not ignoring you, my child. I was gathering your tears, transforming them into seeds of strength that would later bloom into peace. You see, the silence was not absence. It was sacred work. Just as the soil conceals the seed before it breaks open, I concealed my purpose within the quiet. Had you seen what I was doing, you might have tried to shape it yourself, but I needed you to grow accustomed to stillness, to learn that your worth is not measured by visible progress. Only then could you carry what I am about to place within you. In those seasons of waiting, your heart was stretched beyond its comfort. You discovered how easily disappointment can turn into doubt, and how faith must sometimes be chosen again and again, even when feelings refuse to follow. Each time you chose trust over despair, you were becoming stronger. You were learning how to walk by inner light, not by external approval. The world around you taught you to rush, to fill every silence with sound, every gap with effort. But I taught you something the world does not understand: the holiness of delay. Waiting in faith is not inactivity, it is an act of courage. It is the willingness to believe that what I have promised will come, even when nothing moves on the surface. You have done this beautifully. You have been faithful in the quiet. There were moments when you thought I had abandoned you. You looked at your reflection and wondered if perhaps you had failed me somehow. But I tell you now, you never failed. You were never forgotten. Even when the light seemed faint, you kept walking toward it. You carried the weight of uncertainty without losing your tenderness. You showed compassion when your own heart needed healing. And in all of this, you became a reflection of my love, unseen, yet constant. Now, as you look back on those hidden years, you will begin to see the thread that wove through them all. The disappointments that felt like endings were actually gentle redirections. The losses that broke you open were gateways to deeper truth. You were never walking alone. Every detour, every unanswered prayer, every moment you felt unseen, it was all leading you to this exact point where your spirit is prepared for something greater. You have grown in ways words cannot express. You have learned to see beauty in simplicity, to value quiet moments over constant achievement. You have come to understand that peace does not arrive when life becomes easy, but when you no longer need to control it. You are beginning to see that my plan has always been about shaping your heart, not your circumstances. Do you remember the times you thought you had nothing left to give? When you stood at the edge of exhaustion and whispered, "I can't go on." I was there, holding the fragments of your strength, keeping you steady when you felt yourself falling apart. You thought you were surviving on your own, but I was the force keeping your heart beating, the whisper telling you to try one more time. The refining that took place in your solitude was sacred. It stripped away the illusions that once defined you. The belief that success determined worth, that constant giving proved love, that busyness was the same as purpose. One by one, those illusions fell away, leaving behind something far purer. You, just as I created you. No masks, no striving, no fear, just being. And now, beloved, that hidden preparation is coming to light. You may not feel ready, but readiness is not about perfection. It's about surrender. Everything you have walked through, the tears, the prayers, the silence, has formed the foundation you now stand on. You are stronger than you realize. You are not fragile. You are refined. You are not waiting for your purpose to begin. It has already begun in every act of quiet faith you have offered along the way. So take heart. What once felt like delay was actually design. You have not missed your moment. You have been made for this time. The stillness that once felt empty will now become your greatest source of power. The quiet voice that once seemed faint will now guide you with clarity. The years that felt hidden will now shine with purpose. Everything is coming together perfectly as it was meant to. You are not behind. You are right on time. The hidden work is complete. The soil of your spirit is ready, and the seed I have planted within you is about to rise into the light. You need only keep your heart open, your spirit steady, and your trust rooted in me. The next unfolding is already on its way, and you, my beloved, are prepared. You've often wondered, haven't you, why certain doors seem to close when everything within you felt ready to step forward? Why, after moments of hope, silence returned like a heavy mist. That silence was not neglect, it was refinement. Every delay you endured was part of a deeper shaping, a divine rhythm that moved slower than your expectations, but surer than your doubts. You saw pauses, I saw precision. You saw detours, I saw alignment. I was teaching you to trust what you could not yet see, to understand that what feels like stillness is sometimes the most powerful kind of movement. Do you remember the seasons when your spirit felt stretched too thin, when you could almost hear the quiet cracking inside? You called it pressure. I called it expansion. I was enlarging your capacity for grace, for wisdom, for empathy. You wanted relief, and I wanted strength. So I let the shaping continue, not to harm you, but to prepare you for a depth of purpose that requires resilience built from within. The refining work of the unseen is not gentle, though it is sacred. You learned to live without immediate validation, to act in faith even when your efforts seemed invisible. And in that hiddenness, something unshakable took root. The strength that endures public scrutiny is not forged in applause, it is born in solitude. I allowed the pressure to build around you until your heart found stillness even in the midst of storm. This was never punishment, it was purification. You see, my beloved, there are layers of faith, and you have walked through each one. At first, faith feels like reaching for what you want. Then it becomes holding on to what you've been promised. And finally, it becomes resting in me even when nothing seems to move. The last kind of faith is the deepest. It's what turns waiting into worship and disappointment into transformation. It's what I was teaching you all along. I know it wasn't easy. You watched others advance while you stood still. You questioned if I had forgotten your name, if your devotion had somehow gone unnoticed. But I have never lost sight of you, not for a moment. Every time you felt overlooked, I was drawing you closer. Every time you felt unseen, I was reminding you that your worth was never dependent on visibility. You were being strengthened to hold something far greater than mere recognition, true authority that comes from surrender. Think back on the moments that seemed like endings, the friendship that faded, the opportunity that slipped away, the dream that didn't unfold as you expected. Those weren't failures. They were sacred closures, making room for what would not have fit before. When I remove something, it is never loss without meaning. It is the clearing of space for what aligns with your truest purpose. You can trust that every subtraction has been preparation for a multiplication beyond your understanding. I permitted certain experiences to stretch you, not because I wanted you to suffer, but because I wanted you to see the vastness of your own capacity. You have learned to find peace in uncertainty, courage in vulnerability, and hope even in absence. These are not small lessons. They are the foundations of divine maturity. They are what make your spirit a steady light in a flickering world. There were times when you prayed for ease, but instead I sent endurance. You asked for understanding, and I gave you faith. You wanted quick relief, but I offered slow renewal. And though it felt harsh in the moment, you are now standing stronger than you realize. You have learned the language of stillness, the quiet knowing that even when nothing seems to move, something profound is being formed within you. You have walked through refining fires and emerged not hardened but softened. That is the miracle of true transformation. The world teaches that trials create toughness, but I teach that they awaken tenderness. You no longer carry the sharpness of striving. You carry the quiet wisdom of trust. You have learned that strength is not loud. It is not about proving, performing, or defending. Strength, in its truest form, is peace. There were days when you felt yourself unraveling, when your own reflection seemed foreign. You thought something in you was breaking, but it was only the shell of your old self falling away, the self that believed love must be earned, that peace must be deserved, that rest was a luxury. It could no longer survive where I was leading you. I let it crumble so that the real you could rise, the one who knows that my love is unconditional and complete. The refining has stripped away what was false and revealed what is eternal. That is why you no longer fit easily into old patterns. The things that once felt urgent now seem unimportant. The roles you played to please others no longer feel natural. You are not losing yourself. You are remembering who you have always been. This is the quiet rebirth of your spirit, and it is happening in ways that words cannot fully capture. When you feel the old anxieties trying to return, pause and listen. You'll notice something has changed. They no longer hold the same power. You may still feel the echoes, but they fade quickly now, for your spirit knows the difference between false pressure and divine peace. That discernment is one of your greatest gifts. It allows you to move through the world without being moved by it. What once looked like unanswered prayers are now becoming clear patterns of grace. You can see it now, how the job you didn't get made space for the work that truly aligns with your heart, how the friendship that ended allowed you to find those who truly see you, how the season that seemed barren became the birthplace of depth. This is the fruit of refinement, not comfort, but clarity. So when I ask you to trust me still, even now, it is not blind faith I ask for, it is informed faith, the kind that looks back on your story and sees my fingerprints all over it. Every trial, every tear, every long night, all of it was necessary for this moment. You have been prepared for something sacred, something beyond the surface of living. You are now ready to walk with peace, to carry presence wherever you go, to embody calm even in a restless world. Do not despise the refining that made you who you are. It is not a mark of weakness, but of calling. You've been formed in silence so you can speak with authority. You have been hidden so you could emerge with purpose. The waiting was not wasted. It was womb-like, nurturing a new life within you that is now ready to unfold. And here is the truth, my beloved. I never left. I never looked away. You were never forgotten, never overlooked. Every quiet moment of endurance was a line in the story I was writing through you. The refinement is complete enough for the next chapter. You don't need to prove that you've learned the lesson. Your life already reflects it. You carry the peace of one who has been shaped by fire and found grace on the other side. Now you can begin to walk in that peace. You can move forward not as someone trying to earn love, but as one who embodies it. You can rest knowing that what was once pressure has become power, and what was once silence has become song. The refining is no longer something happening to you. It is something that lives within you, guiding you, grounding you, reminding you always of this truth. You are never alone, and every moment has meaning. The awakening begins quietly, almost imperceptibly at first. It doesn't come as an announcement or a sudden burst of clarity, but as a steady softening inside you, as though something within you has begun to remember. You notice the small things differently now. The morning light feels gentler, almost sacred. The air itself seems to hum with a faint assurance that everything is being renewed, even if you cannot yet see how. This is what happens when the refining has done its work. You begin to perceive the divine in the ordinary, and peace becomes not something you chase, but something that meets you where you are. You have entered the early hours of your sacred awakening, my beloved. It will not unfold in the way the world measures beginnings, with noise, spectacle, or recognition. My work rarely announces itself with fanfare. It starts as a whisper that only a quiet heart can hear. This is how I move, softly, steadily, through the cracks of your ordinary days, through your conversations, your pauses, your thoughts. My awakening begins not around you, but within you. You might think this is too subtle to matter, but that is how all profound transformations begin. What I am forming in you is not a momentary inspiration. It is an entirely new way of being. The noise of the world has trained you to seek what is loud, but truth prefers the language of stillness. And you, my beloved, have learned to hear it. You'll begin to sense me in places you once thought were empty. The quiet drive home, the silence after a long day, the pause between thoughts, all of these will become doorways. You'll find me not because I suddenly arrived, but because you finally have space to notice that I never left. The sacred awakening is the unveiling of what has always been true. You and I are not separate. My presence has always surrounded you, filled you, sustained you. You are only now learning how to live as one who knows this deeply. This new awareness won't remove the challenges from your life, but it will change how you move through them. The difference is subtle but profound. Before, you faced difficulty with clenched hands, bracing yourself against the storm. Now you will find yourself breathing through it, trusting that even the storm carries purpose. You will not rush to fix everything immediately. You will begin to sense when it's time to act and when it's time to wait. You'll feel the rhythm of my guidance instead of the urgency of your fears. This awakening is not just spiritual. It touches every part of your existence. The way you speak will soften. The way you listen will deepen. The way you walk through your days will change. Not because you've become someone else, but because you're finally living as the person I created you to be. The false layers are falling away. The need to be perfect, to be productive, to be understood by everyone. They are no longer necessary. What remains is pure, unburdened, authentic. You will notice that you begin to crave peace more than recognition. You will no longer be drawn to spaces that demand your constant proving. The noise that once seemed normal will begin to feel foreign, and though some around you might not understand this shift, do not fear their misunderstanding. You are not growing apart. You are growing deeper. The light I've placed in you is meant to glow steadily, not to flash brightly for fleeting applause. The sacred awakening comes with clarity. Things you once tolerated will feel heavy now. Conversations that revolve around complaint or judgment will leave you drained, not because you're fragile, but because your spirit has become sensitive to what aligns with truth. You will begin to discern what is life-giving and what is depleting. You'll feel it in your body, your emotions, your very breath. Trust those signals. They're not confusion, but communication. They are how my spirit within you keeps you centered. As you awaken, you'll realize that your purpose is not some distant event waiting in the future. It's already woven into this moment. You serve me every time you speak kindness where harshness could exist. Every time you forgive when you could hold resentment. Every time you choose stillness over anxiety. These are not small acts, they are sacred. The world may never celebrate them, but heaven recognizes every one. Do not expect this awakening to be linear. There will be days when peace feels effortless, and others when old fears whisper again. That's natural. The remnants of the past will surface not to condemn you, but to show you how much has changed. When anxiety returns, it won't root itself as it once did. You'll recognize it, breathe through it, and let it pass. You will not spiral as before. That too is growth. My beloved, you will also begin to see people differently. Where you once saw opposition, you will now see reflection. Those who frustrate you will reveal where you still cling to control. Those who inspire you will mirror the qualities I'm awakening in you. Every encounter, pleasant or painful, will become a teacher. The world will no longer appear random. It will feel orchestrated, intentional, alive with divine meaning. Do not rush this process. The awakening unfolds with its own sacred timing. If you try to force it, you will return to striving. But if you allow it to unfold, you will find rest even while growing. I do not ask you to perfect this awareness overnight. I only ask you to stay present, to notice when you drift into old habits of worry, and gently come back to peace. That returning is part of the practice, part of the awakening itself. You will begin to notice a shift in your desires. Where you once sought validation, you will now seek alignment. You will no longer ask, "What should I do to be loved?" but rather, "What feels true to who I am in this moment?" That question will become your compass, guiding you through decisions large and small. And as you follow that inner leading, doors will open naturally. You will not have to push them. They will respond to your peace, not your pressure. There will be evidence of my work in your life, though not always in obvious ways. You'll begin to see coincidences that feel too perfect to be random, timing that feels too precise to be accidental. People will appear at just the right moments, offering words that echo what you heard in prayer. Paths will align effortlessly when you follow peace. These are not small things. They are confirmations, signs that the awakening is alive within you. Understand this clearly, my beloved. This is not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you already are. I have always seen you, always loved you, always been within you. This awakening is the lifting of the veil between your striving and your truth. You are not earning divine favor. You're realizing it has always been yours. You are not climbing toward light. You are remembering you have carried it all along. So walk gently in these days. Treat your life as sacred ground. Every conversation, every quiet morning, every deep breath, these are the places where the awakening continues. Let gratitude flow freely. Let peace settle naturally. You do not need to grasp this moment too tightly. Simply live within it, aware, open, tender. And know this above all, what begins quietly in you will not remain small. The awakening may be subtle, but it will ripple outward. Your calm will influence others more than your words ever could. Your presence, once marked by striving, will now carry peace that changes rooms, hearts, and lives. That is the power of awakening, not in doing more, but in being fully alive. This is the turning point, my child. You are no longer merely enduring. You are emerging. The night is behind you. The dawn has begun. Keep walking with a heart open to wonder, and you will see that the awakening is not a season. It is a way of living. You've carried burdens for far too long, haven't you? The weight of being strong for everyone. The quiet sense that if you slowed down, something would fall apart. You called it responsibility, but I call it striving, and I am here to release you from it. Come close now, my beloved, because this part requires your surrender. You don't need to prove anything. Not to me, not to the world, not even to yourself. I am not looking for perfection. I am looking for presence. You've learned to equate doing with worth, but I never designed you to live that way. Every time you forced yourself to keep going when your spirit was weary, I was whispering, "You can rest now." Every time you believed that rest was weakness, I was saying, "Stillness is strength." You do not have to keep carrying what I never asked you to bear. Your value does not come from your output, your titles, or how well you hold everything together. It comes from the simple, sacred truth that you are mine. Do you remember when you began to feel tired in ways that sleep could not fix? That exhaustion was not just physical, it was spiritual. It came from living in constant motion, from trying to meet needs that were never yours to fulfill. You took on responsibilities that others abandoned. You absorbed pain that wasn't meant for your shoulders. You poured yourself out until there was almost nothing left, believing that self-sacrifice was holiness. But I tell you now, I never asked for your depletion. I asked for your devotion, and those two are not the same. Let this truth settle deeply. I am not glorified by your exhaustion. I am glorified by your peace. The world has taught you to admire the overextended, the endlessly productive, the ones who seem tireless. But I take joy in the soul who knows when to stop, who listens when I say, "That is enough for now." Even creation itself rests. The ocean waves pause between tides, the moon wanes and waxes. The earth turns gently through cycles of light and dark. Why should you live any differently? You are part of that same sacred rhythm. The striving you've known was born from fear. Fear of disappointing others, of being forgotten, of losing love if you didn't keep giving. But you are no longer ruled by fear, my child. You are free. You do not need to overextend to be seen. You do not need to prove your worth through exhaustion. You are already loved, already chosen. I am proud of you, not for your performance, but for your willingness to let me lift what you can no longer carry. There is a sacred art to releasing. It feels uncomfortable at first, like dropping a familiar weight you've carried so long you forgot it wasn't part of you. You may even feel guilt when you begin to rest. The world has conditioned you to believe that rest equals neglect, that slowing down means falling behind. But I am reshaping your understanding. Rest is not retreat, it is replenishment. Stillness is not laziness, it is alignment. When you rest, you make room for me to move. You've been running on self-reliance for so long that it became second nature. You thought, if I don't do it, who will? But I'm reminding you, you were never meant to carry the world on your shoulders. That burden belongs to me. I am the one who holds all things together, not you. When you stop trying to control every outcome, you give me the space to do what only I can do. Trust that nothing truly meant for you will slip away when you let go. As you release, you will begin to notice something profound. The inner noise will quiet. The endless planning, the mental rehearsing of what could go wrong, the constant vigilance, all of it will start to lose its hold. You'll realize that peace isn't something you must earn. It's what naturally rises when striving ceases. You'll breathe again, not the shallow breaths of survival, but the deep, full ones of freedom. I know it feels strange to stop pushing. You've lived so long with urgency that calm feels foreign, almost suspicious. But do not mistake unfamiliarity for wrongness. This stillness is your healing. The more you rest, the more your spirit will remember its original rhythm, the pace of grace, not of pressure. I move slowly, purposefully, beautifully. My timing is never rushed. You will begin to see that slowing down allows you to see me more clearly, to sense my direction without confusion. In this space of release, you will also rediscover joy. It may surprise you at first, the simple joy of breathing without hurry, of noticing beauty without needing to capture it, of feeling my love without having to earn it. Joy will come not as a reward, but as a natural companion to peace. And as it grows within you, it will start to spill over. Your laughter will carry healing. Your presence will become rest for others. People will feel safe around you because they will sense the absence of striving. Let me tell you something sacred. I am restoring your delight. The part of you that once approached each day with wonder has not vanished. It has only been buried under layers of responsibility. I am uncovering it now. The lightheartedness you thought you lost is still within you. The ability to see beauty, to create without exhaustion, to love without depletion. It's all returning. You will learn once more that joy and purpose were never meant to compete. They were meant to coexist. And when you begin to feel restless again, as you will from time to time, pause and ask yourself, am I moving from peace or am I striving from fear? That question will guide you. If peace is your foundation, you will know my presence is leading. But if fear is driving you, it means you've started to carry something that isn't yours. That awareness alone will bring you back to center. The world may not understand this new rhythm of yours. Some may mistake your rest for withdrawal or your quiet for indifference. Do not try to explain. Simply live. Your peace will speak for itself. You are no longer here to convince others of your worth. You are here to embody it. Your stillness will become a message louder than any argument. The true strength flows not from endless striving, but from sacred surrender. I am asking you now to breathe deeply, to unclench your fists, to let go of the illusion of control. You do not need to anticipate every outcome. You do not need to brace for disappointment. What is meant for you is already protected. What is not meant for you will fall away, and you will not need to chase it. Trust that I am working in the quiet, beyond what you can see. So come, beloved. Set down the heavy mantle of endless responsibility. Step out from under the shadow of exhaustion. You have been faithful long enough in the language of effort. Now I am teaching you the language of ease. Not ease without purpose, but ease born of divine partnership. You do your part, and I do mine. Together, we will move in rhythm, unhurried and unstoppable. Your life is not a competition. Your pace is not a problem. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be, standing at the threshold of freedom. Take the first step into rest. It will feel like falling at first, but you are not falling. You are being carried. And I promise you this, once you learn to live without striving, you will never return to the weight of the old ways again. You have spent years living through expectations. Some you inherited, others you built to survive. They became armor, didn't they? The unspoken rules that said you must stay composed, always capable, always useful. You learned to measure your worth through the reflection in other people's eyes, to find meaning in their approval. And yet, when the day quieted and the noise faded, a small voice whispered that there must be more. That whisper was me, calling you back to yourself. Now, my beloved, the restoration begins. You are being gently called home, to the you that existed before the layers, before the striving, before the exhaustion became normal. I am peeling back what was never yours to carry so that your true identity can breathe again. You are not merely what you've achieved, what you've endured, or what you've been labeled. You are my creation, intentionally formed, infinitely loved, and utterly irreplaceable. Every part of you, your laughter, your tenderness, even your vulnerability, was crafted with divine care. For too long, you have believed that being needed equates to being valued, that others' dependence somehow defined your significance. You gave endlessly because you thought that's what love required. But love, my child, is not depletion, it's devotion. True love flows both ways. It nourishes even as it gives. You were never meant to live drained, always pouring out, rarely being filled. That imbalance is what I am restoring now. You will begin to see your relationships through new eyes, not with resentment, but with truth. You'll recognize where you gave out of guilt rather than joy, where you stayed because leaving felt selfish, where your compassion turned into quiet fatigue. I am not asking you to harden your heart. I am asking you to honor it, to let its beating rhythm remind you that your energy is sacred, your time finite, your peace precious. The restoration of identity begins when you stop mistaking endurance for love. I never called you to prove your faithfulness through burnout. I called you to embody love through presence, through the steady warmth that comes from a soul at rest. When your heart is whole, your giving becomes genuine. When your spirit is aligned, your compassion renews itself instead of emptying out. It may feel strange to put yourself back into the story after being background for so long, to say no, to rest when others still run, to protect what you once gave freely. But know this, you are not withdrawing, you are recalibrating. You are no longer defining your goodness by how much you lose, but by how honestly you live. You are not choosing selfishness, you are choosing wholeness. And wholeness serves far deeper than self-sacrifice ever could. The world may resist this version of you. People accustomed to your constant giving may not understand at first. Some will try to pull you back into old patterns, insisting that the only way to be good is to be endlessly available. But I tell you now, availability without discernment is not holiness, it's harm. You cannot give from emptiness. You cannot offer peace if you've abandoned your own. So, my beloved, let me speak this clearly. Your needs are not inconveniences. Your emotions are not burdens. Your desires are not distractions from your purpose, they are part of it. I created you with passions and preferences for a reason. The things that stir joy in you, that awaken your creativity, that make you feel most alive. These are not indulgences. They are indicators of alignment. They are how I guide you back to your truest self. I am restoring your ability to delight in life, to feel without fear, to laugh without guilt, to exist without apology. You have long associated holiness with heaviness, but I am showing you that holiness also dances. It breathes, it celebrates, it rests in wonder. Your restoration will not always look like solemn reflection. It will often look like spontaneous joy, like the quiet confidence that says, I am loved as I am. This restoration will not erase the past, it will redeem it. The years you thought were wasted will become your testimony. The pain that once felt pointless will now serve as empathy. The moments of loss will turn into gateways of understanding. Nothing has been wasted. Not one tear, not one unanswered prayer, not one season of silence. Every part of it is being woven into a story of renewal, yours. You are also being restored to courage. For so long, fear dictated your boundaries. Fear of rejection, fear of letting someone down, fear of not being enough. But your courage is returning now, not as bold defiance, but as quiet conviction. You will know when to speak and when to stay silent, when to step forward and when to rest. You will act not from panic, but from peace. That is true bravery, to move from stillness, not from struggle. Let me tell you something that may surprise you. I am proud of you. Not for your strength in hardship, though that was great. Not for your endurance through silence, though it was admirable. I am proud because you are beginning to trust my love enough to stop earning it. That is the rarest kind of faith, the kind that releases control and allows grace to do its work. You are learning that you don't have to hold your world together. I already am. As your identity is restored, your relationship with me will deepen. You'll stop approaching me as one desperate for answers and begin to come as one who simply delights in being near. Your prayers will feel less like pleas and more like conversations. You'll find yourself speaking freely, even laughing, knowing that I listen to the tones of your heart more than the precision of your words. I am not distant. I am your closest companion. This is not the restoration of your past self. It is the unveiling of your eternal one. You are not returning to who you were. You are awakening to who you have always been in me. The parts of you that were quieted by pain are beginning to sing again. The gentleness you once hid for fear of being overlooked will now become your greatest strength. Your presence will no longer strive to prove. It will simply be, and in that being, it will bless. You are learning now what true identity feels like. It is light, not heavy. It is calm, not chaotic. It is grounded, not anxious. It moves through the world with a steady grace, knowing that worth is unshakable because it comes from me. When others misunderstand you, and some will, do not be discouraged. Their confusion is not your correction. Your life itself will reveal the fruit of peace in time. So let this restoration continue, beloved. Let it seep into every corner of your life. Let it rewrite how you see yourself, how you love others, how you move through your days. You are no longer who the world told you to be. You are who I've always known you to be, whole, radiant, and free. And as you begin to live from this truth, you will notice something miraculous. The same love that once exhausted you will now empower you. You will give, but not from scarcity. You will serve, but not from guilt. You will love, but not at the cost of yourself. Your life will become a living example of what it means to be restored from the inside out. This is the new identity I am giving you, not one you must maintain through effort, but one that remains steady through grace. It is who you were before the world told you otherwise. It is who you are now, and it is who you will always be in me. The deep renewal comes quietly, like the soft unfolding of dawn after a long night. It doesn't demand attention. It simply reveals what was always there beneath the weight of your weariness. Renewal isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you are when nothing is demanded of you. You have spent years giving everything you had, surviving on momentum and grace, and now, my beloved, you are finally ready to rest into restoration. This renewal will not arrive through effort or striving. It will enter through stillness. The more you stop trying to fix yourself, the more space I have to make you whole. I am not asking you to do anything right now except to receive. I am rebuilding your foundations, and it begins with quietness. Let this awareness settle deeply. You are safe now. The season of endless proving has ended. The battles that once consumed you have done their work. You are no longer being tested. You are being healed. Healing is not always comfortable. When something inside you begins to release, you might mistake it for breaking. But you are not breaking. You are unbinding. The tension that once lived in your chest, the constant readiness to brace for disappointment, the feeling that rest was indulgent, all of these are being loosened. The energy you once used to survive is returning as creative power, steady joy, and clear discernment. You might notice strange sensations in this renewal. You'll feel a subtle unease when you try to return to old rhythms. What once felt normal now feels heavy, misaligned. That discomfort is sacred. It's your spirit saying, "We don't live there anymore." Honor it. When something drains your peace, step back. When an opportunity feels forced, release it. You are being guided not by obligation, but by flow. This renewal is also teaching you a new pace. For so long, you've measured progress through visible results. But my ways do not always look like movement. Some of your most significant growth will happen in quiet seasons when nothing external changes. You'll find that what you used to call waiting now feels like being. The rush to reach something fades, replaced by the trust that what is meant for you cannot miss you. You will begin to sense that you are living from a deeper place now. The surface self, the one that managed, that performed, that tried to keep up, will feel quieter. The deeper self, the one that listens, that observes, that moves from intuition rather than pressure, will take the lead. This shift is divine. It is me teaching you how to live in alignment with your truest nature. You are not being made fragile by this process. You are being made authentic. The resilience you've built no longer comes from endurance, but from ease. You will find yourself breathing more deeply, walking more slowly, speaking more softly, and yet everything you do will carry more weight. There is power in peace. You no longer need intensity to feel alive. You will begin to recognize that serenity is not emptiness. It is fullness that no longer leaks. There will be moments when your renewal feels invisible to others. They may look at your life and see quietness where there once was movement. Let them. They cannot see what is happening beneath the surface. You are being rebuilt in ways that cannot yet be measured. Your spirit is learning to stay steady even when circumstances fluctuate. That steadiness is not apathy, it's mastery. As renewal deepens, you'll feel a shift in what draws your attention. Chaos will lose its magnetism. Gossip, drama, and urgency will no longer interest you. Instead, you will crave calm spaces, meaningful conversation, and genuine connection. This is not detachment, it is discernment. You are learning to protect your energy not out of fear, but out of reverence for what sustains your peace. You may find yourself wanting to spend more time in solitude. That is part of the healing. Do not rush back into noise to prove you are fine. The quiet is where I speak most clearly. In solitude, you will discover clarity that no conversation could provide. You will remember that your worth is not dependent on being seen. It is confirmed in being still. My beloved, renewal is not a temporary phase. It is the foundation for your next chapter. What I am restoring within you will not fade when the world becomes loud again. It will remain because it is anchored in truth. You will not return to the exhaustion of before. You will not allow yourself to be consumed by what once drained you. You are learning that peace is not the absence of responsibility. It is the presence of alignment. You may begin to notice small signs that your renewal is taking root. You'll catch yourself pausing before reacting. You'll choose silence over explaining. You'll say no without guilt. You'll find joy in the smallest things again. A morning breeze, a kind word, a quiet cup of tea. These are not insignificant. They are sacred confirmations that your spirit has shifted from striving to being. Even your body will begin to respond. Muscles that held tension will soften. Sleep will come easier. Your breath will deepen without effort. This is your system aligning with peace. You will realize how deeply spiritual rest truly is, not just for your mind, but for your entire being. You were never created to live in constant fight or flight. You were made for rhythm, balance, and trust. Let me assure you of this. Renewal does not mean weakness. You will still lead, still create, still contribute, but from a different energy. You will not burn yourself out to sustain others. You will lead from overflow, not emptiness. Your presence will inspire calm instead of urgency. Your influence will come not from force, but from steadiness. That is true authority, the kind that transforms without demanding. In time, others will begin to notice the difference. They will feel your peace before you speak. They will find themselves relaxing in your company without knowing why. Your calm will become contagious. That is part of the divine purpose of your renewal, to be a living reminder of what grace looks like when embodied. But first, you must continue to protect this sacred process. Not everything and everyone can accompany you into this new space. It doesn't mean rejection. It means refinement. You are not leaving people behind, you are leading by example. Those meant to walk with you will recognize your light and rise to meet it. Those who cannot will simply drift away. Let them go gently, without bitterness. Trust that I will bring into your life those who match your new peace. My beloved, I am renewing you completely. The exhaustion that once felt endless is lifting. The confusion that once clouded your direction is clearing. The heaviness that once defined your days is dissolving. You will look back soon and see how far you've come, not in distance, but in depth. You are no longer surviving. You are living, awake to every sacred breath. This is the fruit of surrender. This is what happens when you stop trying to control the unfolding. Renewal is the reward of trust, and you have trusted me through every shadow, every silence, every season of uncertainty. Now, peace is becoming your inheritance. Let it flow through you. Let it define you. Let it carry you into everything that comes next. For this is not the end of your healing. It is the beginning of your wholeness. The world around you will continue to shift, but within you, there will be a still point that nothing can disturb. That is where I dwell. That is where you will live from now on, anchored, aligned, and free. This new way of living will not resemble the life you once knew. It will not demand endless activity or constant explanation. It will feel simple, grounded, and intentional. You will wake up each day and move in step with peace, rather than pressure. You will no longer chase meaning. It will arise naturally through how you live. What I am teaching you now, my beloved, is not just how to rest for a season, but how to remain in peace as a permanent posture. To sustain this serenity, you must learn to protect it. Not through walls of fear, but through boundaries born of wisdom. Pay attention to your inner atmosphere. When your peace begins to waver, that is your cue to pause, not to panic, but to observe. Ask yourself gently, what have I allowed into my space that is not meant to stay? It may be a thought, a commitment, or a voice that reawakens old patterns. Whatever it is, bring it into awareness and release it into my care. This way of life is not rigid. It is responsive. You are learning to let your days breathe. You will no longer overload your time with what does not matter. Instead, you will create space for reflection, rest, and gentle joy. Your calendar will not define you anymore. Your peace will. You will see that busyness is not productivity and that stillness is not idleness. Each quiet moment will hold sacred purpose. You will also learn to say no with grace. For years, you said yes to everything, fearing that decline meant disappointment. But this new rhythm will teach you that a loving no is a form of honesty, not rejection. It creates room for the right yes to emerge. Every no you speak from peace will open space for something that truly aligns with who you are becoming. Boundaries are not barriers. They are expressions of respect for the life I have given you. This doesn't mean isolation. It means discernment. Not everyone can walk with you at this depth, and that's all right. I will send companions who share your pace, who value presence over performance. You will know them by the peace you feel in their company, by the way conversations with them leave you nourished rather than drained. These relationships will feel effortless, not because they lack depth, but because they flow from mutual respect and authenticity. In this new way of living, you will also rediscover the sacredness of small things. The act of making your morning coffee, the light filtering through a window, the sound of laughter in a quiet room. These will become encounters with me. You will not need extraordinary signs to sense my nearness. You will find me in the ordinary moments that once passed unnoticed. The simple will become sacred, and gratitude will rise naturally from your awareness. Each day will hold quiet opportunities for connection. You will learn to listen more deeply, not just to words, but to hearts. When someone speaks, you'll hear the space between their sentences, the ache beneath their laughter. You'll offer your presence as healing, not by fixing their pain,